Welcome back to another episode of the RTS podcast. I'm your host, Zion Smith, and today I have a special guest with me.
Hi guys, I'm Virginia Chenault, and I'm happy to share with you guys today.
Today on this RTS podcast, we will be talking about Imposter Syndrome and letting go of the past.
Yes.
Virginia, what are some ways you let go of the past?
So, for a long time, it was very hard to let go of those memories of things that's happened to me over my life, the choices I made that I regret, but I would say it was really just waking up and deciding to choose that it's over now and that you can determine what you want to do moving forward in your life. So just waking up and knowing that yesterday's events are in yesterday's time period, that you shouldn't let it affect you moving forward.
I like that insight because letting go of the past can be very difficult, especially when you are going through an experience that you never been through before. Most experiences, most challenges in life that we go through, sometimes it comes out of nowhere, and at first we don't know what to do with it, but there's a saying that says time heals all wounds, and the things that you do in the present will decide your future from tomorrow, a week from now, or a month or a year.
Yes, I agree. And then a friend of mine just told me about how she changes her mood from sad to happy in like 30 seconds. So she gives herself 30 seconds to just be mad about it, think about it, and then after that 30 seconds, she continues on with her day because she doesn't want it to drag along the whole day and it's affecting people around her, things she needs to get done. So I've been implementing that this week, and it's been helping a lot.
Okay. Are those your friend's strategy of letting go of the past and not being mad about a certain experience for a long time and being happy for the next 30 seconds? I know you mentioned that that's one of the strategies that you are working on. Are there any other strategies you work on to let go of the past?
I would say, let me think about this. I would say really just not letting myself be in a mindset for so long that it affects me in all the things that I have going for me now. So when I think about the past, that was the past me. So letting go of that person, not necessarily letting go of that person, but the past has helped me become the person I am today. So using those experiences, using those lessons in a good way is how I've been able to move forward. So just not dwelling on all the bad that's happened, but also trying to find some good in those things.
Okay.
We can talk about imposter syndrome too.
Okay.
You know what that is?
No.
Oh, okay. So I just learned too. But imposter syndrome is where you see others doing the exact same thing you're doing, and you feeling like you can't do it, and holding yourself back when you actually do have the potential to do whatever you put your mind to. So imposter syndrome, it kind of like feels like you're trapped because you're scared if you'll be doing what you if you'll be doing it right, when in a whole you should be doing what makes you happy. So just not worrying about how other people perceive your work, your skill set, or anything that you do.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong if I say this. Imposter syndrome can be more of like imitating what others do, so you can make yourself happy in the moment, but in reality, if you imitate what others do, but you don't normally do those things, it doesn't necessarily make you happy in that moment.
Yeah, that's a part of it, but mostly imposter syndrome is like holding back from doing something that you know you're capable of because you feel like you can't do it how people you can't do it exactly how the people that you see around social media or around your neighborhood doing it. It can also play into like work as well, like you having imposter syndrome, saying you can't publicly speak in front of people, so you just ignore it at all costs. So it's kind of just like hiding yourself from your true potential and not showing the world because you're doubting yourself. So yeah, that's kind of what it is. Now, yeah, you can ask me a question.
What are some experiences with actual syndrome for you?
I mean, honestly, I'm still trying to get out of it. It's some days I can get out of it pretty quickly, some days no. So one thing I'm struggling with is with my fashion brand. Like, I have imposter syndrome because I'm really only a year and a half into sewing, so I don't feel like my work is that good, but others feel like it. So it's kind of just like been a war with me getting out of my way, getting out of my head to just make and create, because without the practice, I'm going to be in the same exact level of skill set if I don't just step out and just do what I know I'm capable of doing. Kind of like when you're a beginner at something and you're only surrounded by advanced people, like you kind of feel like, oh, I definitely can't go play with them, blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of what I've been experiencing as an owner of my fashion brand right now.
I would say some of my experiences with imposter syndrome, I would piggyback off what you just said just now and talk about another bit of my experiences with graphic design. When I got into graphic design in my sophomore year of college, I took a intro to drawing class, and what happened was there was advanced drawers all around me in my class, and I was the beginner. I had little to no experiences in drawing whatsoever, and drawing is not my cup of tea. So being around those people who are advanced and who get it like that, it makes me feel like I don't even belong at this class. Like, what is I'm doing here? But as I would say this, as time goes on and you learn from those people, it comes naturally for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand, because like you could have just dropped the class. I could have just threw away my sewing machine, but like just knowing that everybody had to start somewhere, so you putting in the work, there's no way that your efforts cannot improve over time. So I get it. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, it's a daily struggle. I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, I'm completely completely out of imposter syndrome. I hope to be one day, but I just think that it's a topic that's not really discussed, and people don't know that they're going through it until you figure out what imposter syndrome is.
What are some ways that you have thought about overcoming imposter syndrome one day?
Some ways, honestly, I sometimes can already see where my work can lead me. So like thinking to the future of, if I put in the work right now, boom, 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 I can hit these goals even quicker. I can reach the end goal, what I have in mind for whatever project I'm working on, quicker, as long as I stay dedicated and focused in that moment. So just taking the losses, the failures, and not dwindling down and then like giving up, because giving up, when you give up, that's when you truly fail, in my opinion. So just not having failure as an option, period, is what I aim to get over imposter syndrome completely.
I would also say that there's nothing wrong with failing, because like you said, you have to start somewhere, and without failure, how are you going to prepare for failures if let's say like something is going well, and about a week later or a month later you fail something, and you're not quite prepared for it, but the failure, it makes you into a better person, and you learn from that failure. You let that failure uplift you, and now when you fail again, you more prepared, and you be like, okay, this is what I have to do. I can't do this, and that failure would help me.
Yeah, I agree with like being able to pivot and accept what's happened in that certain situation. So like when I be praying, I be asking God to prepare me for the good and the bad, because things could go well, but like you said, the next day, next week, you could be starting from zero. So, but at least you've figured out what caused you to go from the top to the bottom, so that when you build your way back up, you don't have to have that stumbling block when you get back up to the top. So, I agree.
That makes sense. I agree with that as well. Another question that I wanted to ask you was, I know you mentioned that when you pray to God, you ask Him to prepare you for the good and the bad as well. When you pray to God and ask Him to help you be more prepared for what's going to come in the future eventually, do you feel like you are becoming more prepared, or does it take a little bit more time for you to accept the reality?
Honestly, lately I've been accepting the reality, like accepting that everything is working on its own time, because rushing, I might be trying to rush and do something, and then the whole time God knows it's gonna fail already. So taking my time, knowing that okay, this didn't work, well, that's the bad, and I gotta accept it, and like I said, pivot to something else. But also like staying humble too, like knowing that even when something good happens, I need to be humble. I need to give thanks 100% to Him, because I'm not doing this on my own. I would have gave up years ago.
Amen.
So, yeah.
humble. That's big for me personally, because I think about imposter syndrome. Okay, we talking about imposter syndrome. Now I'm thinking about, it's not necessarily being better than other people, or working so hard to the point where you want to be just like them. I feel like with that, you just have to be better than yourself, and it's gonna be hard. You will have failures, and when you fail, it hurts. It's hard to accept. It's hard to take in, because it's a punch to the heart. But being better than yourself, and also being humble when things are good and when things are not so good, that's big.
Yeah, and just making sure that like you're just striving to be better than you were yesterday. And that thing ties back into what we were saying before, not letting the past, control how you're gonna wake up the next day. Or the next hour, like I said, the 30-second thing. Let it go in 30 seconds and continue on with your day, because you could be having a bad day for no reason, treat somebody that couldn't help you bad for no reason, just because you let that one little thing that you couldn't control take over your whole day, when that little situation is probably happening for a reason. So, yeah.
That's deep. One of the quotes that I wrote on my motivational book today when I woke up this morning was, the past is the past, because there are some things that I cannot control. And when those things are out of my control, there's nothing that I can do about it. So why would I be mad about it? I would say, thinking about the past is the past. You cannot, like, some things are out of your control.
But when it comes to the things that you do have control of, like if you know something is triggering you every single day, try and find another way to avoid that, so that you don't have to start your day or have to go through your day knowing that this thing is going to upset you every single day. So, same thing with the pivot. If you got to make a different decision, you got to block a friend or whatever, I don't know, do what you have to do to make you happy, to make sure that you're happy in your life.
Right.
And really just trying to figure out, me personally, just trying to figure out what even makes me happy in life right now. So, once you figure that out, there's not much that can upset you. Yeah.
Amen. I know you mentioned that when your friend goes through a rough time, she lets go whatever she's gone through in 30 seconds. Do you have that friend still in your life that helps you to overcome imposter syndrome?
Yes. A lot of people, like, that I've never even met before, like, just a little comment on one of my projects, like, that'll make me want to go 10 times harder. Even some people in our orientation group, like, they really want me to go in and start posting sewing videos. So just knowing that people actually do want to see my content is what gets me out of imposter syndrome, because it's kind of like, I know I can do it, and now people are actually interested in what I'm doing. Because in high school, to be honest, like nobody really paid attention to me, like at all. I was kind of like a ghost, so I never thought that people would even be interested in anything that I had to do, that I had going on. So now that they are, it's just really humbling and exciting to be able to share that with people who genuinely are loving and kind and accepting of what I have going on and want to be a part of it.
Amen. So I know you just mentioned that back in high school, no one really paid attention to you, and now that you are in college and you have your own clothing brand and you are trying your hardest every single day and you're working your butt off every single day to make your clothing brand big and have a lot of people pay attention to it and make it worldwide as well. What is the difference of your imposter syndrome from high school to college?
It's a huge difference because I didn't even know what imposter syndrome was in high school, so I was just not doing anything that made me happy at all, because I felt like it just wasn't good enough, or people didn't care, or if I showed people, they would joke on me about it. So I didn't do anything in high school till like senior year, and then it was too late. So versus college, when I first went to college, it really changed because I don't know what happened, but my personality opened up and people were just drawn to me for some reason. I didn't even know. Like, it was just a huge transition that I didn't even know how to adjust to at first. So with that, I don't even know how I'm trying to put this right now, but I was very happy to know that people do see me for me and that I can be myself finally and not continue to hide in the dark.
I like that. That's inspiring and it's powerful as well. I can also say this whenever you are having doubts creep up in your mind and you feel like it's the end of the world. I would say think back to high school when you felt like you had no support. You felt like nobody really cared, and you feel like you was never truly happy because you mentioned being humble, right? Thinking back to high school and thinking about those hardships, that's humbling because you realize you had so many failures. Now you in college and your personality has opened up and you have a lot of people who is supporting you and who wants to see your content out there. So I would say think back to those times in high school and think about all your hardships, and that's one of the ways that you can overcome imposter syndrome and be humble as well, because being humble is truly powerful. I believe that.
It's been a long time since like I give into myself what I know I deserve. So like this time right now that I'm in right now is I really have to go hard for myself because all the decisions I made have been for others, and not a single one has really been for me. So I just want to make sure that I'm making myself happy, because nobody else can.
Right. Yeah, a lot of thoughts. Okay, so you mentioned suppressing what you wanted to do to make others happy. Has there been times when it seemed like your friends were there during your highest moments, but when you were at your lowest point, your friends wasn't there? So basically what I'm asking is, has there been times when you had to realize, okay, maybe this person doesn't deserve to be in my life because this person is only there for what I'm doing good instead of what I'm doing bad and helping me in that process?
Yeah, I feel like there's been a few instances like that. A long time ago, though. Very long time ago. Yeah, it really just showed their true character. But do I forgive them? Yes, definitely. Because I'm not gonna have that on me, holding me back from what the blessings I got, because I can't forgive you. Like, I forgive everybody that's ever done anything to me. So, does it affect me right now? No, not at all. Not at all.
Amen. Amen to that. That's powerful. For forgiveness is powerful, and that's what I'm learning right now as well. So when it comes to imposter syndrome and letting go of the past, who is a person that you want to inspire the most when it comes to letting go of what they cannot control?
Inspired the most probably be my brother. Yeah, it would be my little brother, because I want him to know that through everything we've been through, that's not the end of our story. So just remember to like make good choices every single day, and you can't like not look forward to what's to come, because you're doing right every day. So yeah, I would want to inspire my brother.
I like that. That's lovely. If you don't mind me asking, how did, well, not how, when did you started to have imposter syndrome?
I would say nearly all my life. I would say probably starting at 16 though. So 16 to now. Because I kept looking at other people around me. Social media really started picking up around 2016. So having the influence of social media, where that's taking you out of reality and putting your focus on something different when you should be putting your focus on your talent, giving to yourself. Now you're watching other people, that so much so that you want to become just like those other people, or want to have everything those other people have, and then not realizing that it's affecting you mentally and physically from achieving what you have in mind. So yeah, I would say 16 for sure.
Okay. And I know you said when you was 16 years old, social media, it play a major role in your imposter syndrome because it's taking you out of reality, and you are watching people do good and live these luxurious lifestyles instead of doing what makes you happy in the moment. So another question that I would like to ask is the age that you are currently are right now, do you feel like social media still plays a role in your imposter syndrome, or not as much, or not at all?
I would say not as much. Like most, I take a lot of breaks from social media. Like I just got back on social media, so I take breaks because it's just a lot of content up there that you can be soaking in.
Yeah.
It's just,
it's so draining.
Yeah.
It takes your energy.
And then next thing you know, you scrolling, haven't done anything that you said you were going to do today.
Mm-hmm.
So taking the breaks are necessary, but like I do get a lot of influences from seeing other people's work and seeing how they run their business, how they run their Instagram page, so that people can find them and so they can sell their products. So I use that to like figure out how I'm going to run my page without being sucked in it completely.
So basically, when you are influenced by other people's content and how they manage their social media platforms, basically what you just said was you take it as inspiration. It's not necessarily copying others as well.
It's kind of called like, they call it now, I didn't know about this, they call it the 3% rule, where like you don't change it up, but you add your 3% to make it your own. So just not what they say, reinventing the wheel, pretty much.
Right.
So yeah, seeing what works for other people and seeing how I can change it to work for me.
Right. Okay.
That's how I'm using social media now.
Okay. That's like adding a seasoning to a food that you feel like you just need to spice it up or something.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Okay. Another question that I would like to ask you, and I'm really curious about this, is do you know other friends who experience imposter syndrome?
Yes, a lot of people that I know, a lot of people. But I will say, now we're all starting to kick it up a notch, because we know we're sleeping on good talent that we know is not out there. So really just encouraging each other to keep going, just put it out. Like one of my friends was like, on my Instagram feed, I don't know if you saw my story, I was trying to figure out what to record on the camera. And he was like, oh, you're just overthinking it. So it's really just to stop overthinking and just put content out that makes you feel good.
Right.
So yeah, we are all stepping it up, I can say.
I'm happy to hear that. That makes me happy, truly, and that makes me feel better hearing that from you, because I overthink to the max. I don't know if you would count that as imposter syndrome, but I overthink to the point when sometimes my stomach will start to hurt. That's how bad I overthink, because I be thinking like, is this gonna go well? Like, what would the future look like? Like, just thinking ahead of the future, and just thinking about like possible outcomes that hasn't even happened yet. That plays one of the big roles of my overthinking. So hearing that from you, and hearing how you have friends who encourage you to keep going, don't stop, and put out content that will get people to be interested in your clothing brand. That makes me happy, truly.
Yeah, I too overthink. Used to overthink terribly, like overthink to the point where like it does tie into imposter syndrome, where you just don't do it at all. You don't do anything at all, and then you go the next day, you get yourself hyped up, and you still don't do it because you overthought about it too much. So yeah, I went through that phase too, and I'm still finally getting out of that phase. But it just truly takes you to look at where you are right now and to be like, okay, I'm still in this same place. Do I want to be in this same exact place next year? Not even saying like next year, like of course you're going to be changed next year, but like how drastic do you want that change to be is what you're going to have to make every single day you wake up. But the decision that you have to make every single day you wake up. So yeah, overthinking is it's a distraction, honestly. It's a distraction to keep you from doing something that you know you can do easily in your sleep. And when you do overthink, you do think about the future or how will it turn out. Well, you definitely won't figure it out if you don't try it out. So that's the same thing I was saying, like you don't fail till you give up, but you didn't start yet, so you didn't fail. Yeah.
You never know until you try.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Amen. Okay. So I know we are both Monarch Orientation Leaders this summer, and I know that this summer will be unforgettable, and it will be fun. So I have to ask you, because I'm curious about this. What made you want to be an orientation leader for the summer?
So, in all honesty, I just transferred here, so this is my full year this last semester, and I've interacted with a lot of students that have been here for years, and I'm telling them stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I never knew about that," and I'm like, "Wow, maybe I can help make a difference so that I make sure that the new students that come in, to make sure that they know everything that the campus offers, so that they're not left in the dark or feeling like, or even just scared to reach out to adults who may intimidate them." So being that person there for them is why I originally applied for the role, so that I could be someone that's relatable and be someone that they can rely on, because me being a transfer, I was kind of starting like new, just like them. That's why I applied it.
Okay, I like that. That's powerful. Do you feel like being an orientation leader this summer will be one of the ways that help your imposter syndrome? Because I know you said something about being relatable for other students who may feel like they are in a dark place and they feel like they cannot talk to adults and get help.
You said, I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah. Do you feel like being a Monarch Orientation Leader this summer will help you with your imposter syndrome?
Oh, okay. Yes, I do, because one, the starting the mornings early is a routine that I already need to get into action for my future. So that'll prepare me in a sense. Also, being able to adapt depending on who I'm talking to, the conversation we're having. So I do feel like it will help me get out my imposter syndrome by allowing me to communicate effectively with people, because in high school, like I said, nobody talked to me. So a lot of people say, like you said a few weeks ago, you like my personality, you like how I'm open, outgoing.
Yeah.
The whole time, that was not me. That was not me in high school. Like, you say hi to me in high school, I say hi, or maybe just wave. Don't even open my mouth. So like, being a Monarch Orientation Leader is making me get out of the shell completely now, because I'm never seeing the same people. I'm never having the same exact conversations.
Right.
Yeah, I do feel like it'll help me get out of imposter syndrome.
Okay. I like that. And you mentioned that when you are an orientation leader, you're not having the same exact conversations, and you talking to different types of people all over the world as well. Do you feel like when you help them with their college journeys and helping upcoming students being aware of the resources and what ODU has to offer, it's kind of like being an inspiration as well. Do you feel like that will help you with your imposter syndrome and letting go of the past?
I do feel like being able to be there for them when people weren't there for me, because I'm a first generation student, so there was a limited amount of questions I could ask my family. So being able to be that person for them, for the first generation students, for the people that just are coming back to college from military, like allowing them to, well, not allowing them, but giving them a sense of peace. I know this semester, in one of my classes, one of the students was from the military, and he didn't even know what lockdown browser was, and he was having a lot of trouble with Canvas too. So like, being there for him, I really feel like he appreciated the fact that somebody had the patience to help him get through the class when no one else wanted to help him.
Okay. I like that. This is my special guest,
Virginia Chenault.
I'm your host, Zion Smith, and this is the RTS Podcast. Always and forever.